This is East Idaho Newsmakers with Nate Eaton.
Welcome to East Idaho Newsmakers. Today we are talking with the Leach family. They live in Rigby, and their 15-year-old son, Turtle, was recently accepted to perform on Broadway in a musical about hemophilia. Not a lot of topics, hemophilia, Broadway, that you don't often hear that a lot. So we're going to talk about why you got accepted, how you got accepted. First of all, thanks for coming in here, you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Turtle, that is your real name. We were talking before the show.
Yes.
You got accepted to do this. How did you apply? How did this all happen?
Well, so one day I was sitting at a friend's house while we were taking a trip to Boise, and we were sitting at their house, and one of my friend's mom, she asked if I was musically inclined, and so I was like, sure, why not? And so she sort of like showed me like this video, and so I watched it and I was like, this sounds really interesting, and so we put in my information, and about a week or two later I got an email, and they wanted me to send in an audition, and that's how it basically kicked off from there.
And what was your audition?
I had to sing 42 bars, and then we had to send it in through email, and yeah, I was just singing.
And how long after you sent in the video did you find out that you had been accepted?
It took about like 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, it took a while, and I was really anticipating it.
You were waiting for it.
Yeah.
I bet.
Only 25 kids were getting picked from all of the United States.
From across the country.
From across the country.
25 high schoolers. You were one of 25.
One
now,
of 25.
Do you have hemophilia?
Yes, I have a version of it called von Willebrand's. I have type 1. I think it's either A or B. I'm not 100% sure yet.
Okay, so Mom and Dad, for those people that are not familiar with hemophilia, we know it's a blood disorder, disease. Is it technically a disease?
That's what it's
condition.
In the name. It says his is called von Willebrand's disease.
And what is
or
that?
Disorder. So von Willebrand's is a factor 8 deficiency. So your blood is made up of all sorts of different factors, 1 through I don't even know how many. There's a lot. And when you miss part of it, your blood doesn't completely clot. So if my kids get cut, they end up bleeding longer, not necessarily more like a hemophiliac would. And so it just takes a lot longer for their blood to continue to produce what is missing. Sometimes when they have surgeries and stuff, they have to have extra factor given to them through IVs.
Now, do all of your children have hemophilia?
4 of our 6 are confirmed diagnosis. We're still waiting for our little one who's a year old to get tested, and we have one daughter that they suspect a different bleeding disorder.
You're the oldest, Turtle.
Yes.
Do you guys have hemophilia? It's not like passed on.
It is hereditary for most people, but in our family's case, we have no known cases on either side of our family.
Yeah, 4 of your kids have it. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it affects boys and girls.
And we've been tested. We got tested when they were younger in Denver, and they could not pinpoint it.
Really? Okay, so Turtle was born. Did you know right away that something, how did you find out that he was hemophiliac?
We didn't find out until he was in kindergarten, but we actually found out with his younger brother, which is our 3rd child. He was 11 months old, and we kept taking him in saying something's not right. Little babies shouldn't have bloody noses like this, where he's just covered, just head to toe covered.
So your newborn, he was having bloody noses. Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
And so by the time he was 18 months old was when they actually diagnosed him. The ENT had suspected that he had a bleeding disorder, and sure enough. And then he said, you need to have everyone tested in your family. And so at that time, we only had 3 kids. And so Turtle came back positive, and Nathan and I came back negative, and our daughter came back negative.
Turtle, it's not like you might get more bloody noses than someone like me, but when you do get a bloody nose, it bleeds longer. Is that right?
It would, yes.
And is that a common occurrence? Like, do you know when you cut yourself, oh, I gotta, be extra careful, or?
For me, there's different levels of it, and so I'm not as extreme. So if I cut myself, I usually treat it as normal. I mean, I'll take extra precautions for it, but I'm not going to freak out like maybe a hemophiliac.
I see. Are you on any medications?
No.
And do any of your children have to take medications? They do.
They do.
And
Turtle is one of the least affected by it out of our children. So even in our own children, they all vary in different affectedness by it. So.
And are those medications like oral, like pills?
So we have one medication that it's actually called Stymate, and we have to spray it in their nose. And so that's usually our first response. And then if that doesn't work, we have to do an IV infusion of a different factor to see if that would help.
Any idea how common hemophilia is?
Well, von Willebrand's is 1% of the population of the world.
Lucky you.
But it is so hard to diagnose.
Is it?
And because it's so hard to diagnose, a lot of people have it and have no idea that they have it. And so, you know, until we have a surgery or something, which Turtle's had, he's had to have his tonsils and adenoids taken out when he was little. And when we did that, we have to do PICC lines and we have to do infusions for weeks. Wow. And so it's extensive.
Wow.
So
you've lived with this your whole life, and you decide, when did you apply? When were you at your friends, and when did you apply for this?
This was about 2 or 3 months ago, yeah.
Okay, earlier this summer. So just a little bit about the musical. It's called Hemophilia, the musical. The young adults, each affected by the bleeding disorder, will perform in a Broadway-style musical upon completion of the Breaking Through Musical Theater Intensive Workshop. So it sounds like you go out to New York City and for 3 days get coached on all sorts of stuff, breathing and relaxation, on pain management, as well as the psychological benefits and therapeutic value of self-expressions at the arts. A lot of people would love to do something like this, have 3
Yes.
days in New York. Do you have to pay for any of this?
Nope, it's all expenses paid.
So you're going out to get this training by these pros, and then you're on Broadway. You're a Broadway star.
Yep.
What do you think about this?
I'm very excited, yes. I've never been to New York, and that's my top place I want to go. And on top of that, I get to meet new people with this bleeding disorder and see how they deal with it.
It looks like there's kids from Colorado, Georgia, North Carolina, Indiana, Florida, New York, California, Rigby, Idaho, Kentucky, Oregon, Utah, New York. All over the country, like your mom said, and Rigby, Idaho. So what are you hoping to take away from this once you go out there?
I'm hoping just to, come out of my shell. I hate to say it like that. But, we live in a small town, and so there's not many people with this bleeding disorder that at all. There's only a handful around us. I'm just hoping to meet more people, and I just think it would be really cool to go and do this musical, because I like music a lot, and so I'm hoping to get out of it.
Nathan and Robin, when he comes home from his friend's house, did he say, I want to apply for this, or had you already applied?
So we were actually in Boise for doctor's appointments. We spent 2 weeks in Boise for doctor's appointments, and so while we were there, we had met other friends through the Hemophilia Center, and so we were at their house, and the mom works for the National Hemophilia Foundation, and she was like, I got this email, and I think Turtle would be this great candidate. We had a week. We had a week to pull together. He had to write a 500-word essay on why he would be a good candidate. And then he also had to do this video singing audition, which he was like, I'm not a singer. I don't want to sing.
What did you sing? I won't ask you to sing it.
Perfect by Ed Sheeran.
Oh, okay, good. So you put together this video and this essay, send it off. Did you all think he'd make it, get accepted?
We had hoped.
We were kind of like, everybody has a chance, but
we're like, it's 25 kids. We're like, at least, this is an opportunity we can't provide you. So, I'm like, I think that it would be really good for you to just at least apply, and see what happens. I'm like, if it doesn't happen, oh well, you at least tried, and so he was like, okay, I'll do it.
And you did it, and then did you get a letter or was it an email that said congratulations?
A phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I hung up on the phone call because I didn't recognize the number.
Thought it was a spam caller.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all get those. So you ignored the call, then did they call back?
They
or?
called my cell phone.
Okay.
And Turtle was working at our friend's house, and I lost it bawling. I couldn't even compose myself, and I was like, put it on speaker so other people can hear it in the house.
So what did they say?
They said their name, and they told us who they were, and they said, we are calling about the Hemophilia, the musical, and we wanted to let you know that Turtle was accepted. And I was just like, oh my gosh, he's going to New York.
And you weren't home.
No, I was at work.
So how, did you run and tell him?
So I called him. I called him on his cell phone, and I was like, are you sitting down? What are you doing? I don't want to like distract you from something. And he was like, no, I'm good. And I'm like, so I just got a phone call, and of course I got all choked up and started crying again. And I'm like, I just want to let you know that you got chosen. You get to go. And so he was like screaming in the background. He's like, I just can't believe it.
I think I could hear him from down the street.
Right?
Oh, wow.
If I went out front, I could probably hear him yelling.
That's a great story. So what are you doing to prepare yourself? Did they tell you to do anything to get ready for this?
They actually really haven't. We've just been waiting to hear more about it.
And do you guys get to go with them?
I get to go.
You
Yeah.
got the lucky star. So you'll go and I'm sure you'll be watching for updates every 5 minutes about what's going on. And you know, you may know as much as we do that it is 3 days of workshops, and then at the end of the camp, you guys present this musical.
Yep.
They get to perform it.
And do you know the storyline or anything?
No, I think that's what we're working on, is to develop a story to go with the songs to present it.
So part of the submission process was he had to submit different ideas of what he would like to see. If he had heard, if he went to go to Broadway to see the musical himself, what would he want or expect to see? And so he had to come up with ideas. And so my understanding is it's a collaboration of different ideas coming from all the different teams that were picked. And they were composing songs and different
all of your
all
different
of this
ideas
stuff to make
coming
it. Yeah,
together.
they were combining it all together to make this happen.
What did you say in your essay?
I was just talking mostly about my my bleeding disorder and how it's affected me and how it's affected other people and with my job, and some of it was how music has also helped me in my life, and that was most of the essay was just about that.
You mentioned your job. What do you do for your job?
I'm a ranch foreman for Elkington Ranch. It sounds official, but really they're just some family friends that live down the street.
It's official. You can say
But it
it's
is.
official, yeah.
But yeah, I go down there, I work with horses and cows and basically everything you can think of on a ranch, feeding them, brushing them, watering them.
Do you have to take any precautions with hemophilia when you do that job or when you do your daily activities?
Yeah, I do. I'm a little more careful around the animals because you don't want to get kicked whether you have this or not, because if I do, I'm going to bleed like longer, and so it'll be a little more worse for me.
Do you know any of these other 24 kids?
Not a single one of them.
You don't
No.
know any of them. So does that make you a little nervous, or are you
I'm actually really excited to meet some people from other places.
Yeah, I bet. Well, the cool thing is it sounds like they're going to stream this online. So all of the public, if you're watching, you can actually watch this at breakingthroughhemophilia.com, and it looks like the musical premieres on the New World Stages November 12th at 1 p.m. Eastern, so that's 11 a.m. Mountain. I imagine, are you going to have a viewing party at your house? I mean, you'll be there, but Mom will be here.
I don't think we have thought about it yet. We're still kind of like going, is this for real? Like, is this really happening?
Yeah. So there's probably going to be maybe some kids watching that might not have hemophilia, or maybe they do, but they might have some sort of condition or disorder that they feel like there's no hope for them, or that they feel alone. What would your message be to those kids?
I would say definitely that they do, and don't stop your dreams or don't stop your disability or disorder from stopping you in your dreams and further on with that, whether it's a career or just a hobby or something. Just keep going for it.
And Mom and Dad, your message to other parents out there, I mean, you have obviously dealt with this with at least 4 of your 6 children. What would you say to those parents that are frustrated or have to have medication after medication? What's your message to them?
I would think, like, you know, try to find people. With this as our family, we never knew how much this would grow into a larger family. And I say that as we've met so many people, so many from different avenues of life that have shown our kids that they can do anything they want to do, even with these bleeding disorders, sports or careers. There are people out there that we didn't even know existed until we started going to events and, you know, going online and finding these activities that are for these children and it's not just for the children. We've been, you know, privileged to be a part of things that have helped us as parents. We've been able to learn how to cope with our disorders and how to manage that and how to help our children in their young age to grow up and know that you're not different. You're still a human being. You're still a person. You just have something else that's going on in your life. So I would say that to the parents. Just try to find those people. Don't just think it's you stuck in this world by yourself. There's tons of people that are dealing with different disorders that are out there. They're trying to network.
Anything you want to add, Robin?
Definitely, just reaching out, finding groups on Facebook has been a huge help. Finding other parents that if I have a question or a comment that I can leave to help others, you know, I think it's really great to reach out and find other people, either in your community or in your state, or if it's rare enough, it might be the whole United States or the world. You just reach out to wherever you can and find those groups to help you, and you might help someone else in return.
And here you are about to go network with other people, and I imagine once this airs and once this play happens, you guys will be having a much larger family. The director said young adults with bleeding disorders need a creative outlet that allows them to express what they are thinking or feeling and specifically showcase how their lives are impacted. We were blown away by the talent and thoughtfulness of the applicants. That's you. We applaud BioMarin, the pharmaceutical company that's sponsoring this. We applaud BioMarin for helping these teens bring their stories and talent to life as we introduce them to just how beneficial the arts can be for young people affected by chronic illness. And you hear so much about kids being able to find themselves in the arts or in sports, in an activity where they can focus on expressing themselves.
Right.
Well, good for you, Turtle. We look forward to seeing you make East Idaho proud. All of us will be watching again. It's November 12th at 11 a.m. breakingthroughhemophilia.com. And if you make it onto Hamilton or Frozen or one of the big shows as a star, don't forget us, okay?
All right.
All right. Good luck. Thank you for coming in, Turtle and Robin and Nathan Leach. And thank you for watching. Have a good week.